Mesechta Avoda Zara Daf Ches Amar Aleph. It's around 11 lines in the top of the Mishnah. These are the chagis of the goyim, in which there is a isur. That the previous Mishnah said it's a isur for us to do any business 3 days before the chagis, because anything that they'll feel is beneficial to them, they'll go and thank their getchkes for it. And these are we're going to just say names, and the Gemara will explain what they are. Hagam, Rabbi Reuben sent me from the dictionary what they are. Kalenda, Ustarnura, Ukatisim. Kalenda, Ustarnura, I can tell you it's the season of the winter season that starts from Teves to Adar. So Kalenda is the 8 days after. Ustarnura is the 8 days before. Ukatisim, I don't know what it is. We'll soon see later. But Yom Ginus Yeshemachayim, which the Gemara will explain also. But Yom HaLeida, and also the day of birth of the Melucha, which is celebrated every year. So those years, through the princes, and through the princesses, through being Makav Kabbanas, Yom HaMisa, also the death of the king, meaning whoever's ruling, his father's death, is Midei Shana, every year he celebrates it. So that also is those days, 3 days before those days. Well, okay. You don't do business with these guys. Those are the words of Rabbi. Kol misa sheyesh ba sreifa, any misa that they celebrate him through burning his private stuff. So then yesh ba avitzke chacham. Then you have to worry that they're celebrating it also to the idols, to their getchkes. Shein by sreifa, but if they don't burn his private things of that king, if they don't do a seifa, a ceremony of a seifa, it doesn't have avitzke chacham mixed in it. And now he's going to talk about a pashta person, on a simple person when a goy when he shaves his beard, and V'leirisa was the ponytails that they had, the whole head shaved, but they only had like a ponytail hanging in the back. So when they would cut off that, or Yom Shalabay Min Hayam, or the day that they in the back. No, here it says in the back. Yeah. And he says, Yom Shalabay Bin Ayam, the day that they made it through, they traveled by sea and made it through, or the day that he came out of jail, or a guy that's doing the Bala Mishnah, the father who's making the chasana, it's not us only that day in itself. But the gate to the chasana, or the gate to these people, the only person that we are not allowed to do business with is with that person, the Bal HaMishta, or the one who has the ponytail, or the one that's cutting his beard. Only that person, not his family members. You can do business with a family or with those people that work for him. That's not Nageya. Only who's Nageya, that person whom the Simcha happened to. Rav Chanan bar Ava said, Kalenda, Shmeina Yom Achat Kufa. Kalenda is the 8 days after the winter season. Stanura, Shmeina Yom Lilith Neit Kufa. Stanura is the 8 days before Teves. V'simanach, and the sim will be what it says in the pasuk. First it says which chag does he say first? The ones after. And then the second chag is the one before this season, the winter season. Where do we see that? Acher means after. The kadam, and the earlier one, Satani, I have created, but it says Acher and kadam. So that's the siman to know that the first chag that they're talking about is the 8 days after the season. And we'll soon see why. Here, that the first winter he saw, the day is getting smaller and smaller. He says, Oy li, woe is to me, maybe because of the sin that I had sinned, the sun, the world is getting now dark because of me. The chayz is going to return to pustum vis. It's become nothing like it was before the creation of the world.
This is on the first day of creation already?
Yeah, there was. In the first couple of hours, he's already sinned with Eitz Chadas. So this is the misa that they're punishing me min hashamayim. Okay, he sat 8 days in a fast and davening. So here the
But he
Mefarshim
really had
is.
only one,
So the Chayda, we know Adam Rishon was fasting for 100 and something years. What is this 8-day fast? How is it any different? So he says, because of the sin. Others say it was all his life because of the sin of Eitz Hadas. He was trying to do tshuva. If I can have just a cup over there. There's no cup? Okay.
so when,
Oh.
yeah.
Just a little bit. The rest you can take. That's it. So he's fasting always for the Chet Eitz Hadas. Over here it says 8 days. Because of this story, 8 days. What's the specialty of the 8 days? Because the other years that he fasted, it was without the nights. Here he was able to fast the 8 days. It means including the nights. That's what he brings down. So the Gemara. So what happened over here? So he the first 8 days when this happened, he started to fast.
Yeah.
But Kima Shirat Kufis Tefis. Once he started to see Tefis is coming in, but the days are getting longer. So he realized, oh, it's a cycle. This is the cycle. Days get shorter, days get longer. Then he made the first Yom Tov after this cycle, after the winter season, because that's when he first realized that there's longer days too. Then the next year he made before.
He didn't give him a...
Lashon Acheres
What did he
Hasamayim.
do? Yom Tovim. What did he do?
He celebrated 8 days
How
after.
did he celebrate? With whom?
He made it like a Hanukkah. Chleis. He made a Hanukkah after, and then he made a Hanukkah before the next year. Shana Acheres Has Le'elo. And the next year he made, in those days that he fasted before not realizing why the days are getting shorter, so he converted it that tightness the next year into a Yom Tov. Begam Le'elo Lo Yom Tov. He also made it into a Yom Tov. Says, who kavam l'shem shemayim? Other one Rishon did it l'shem shemayim. But him, the Goyim, that the future Goyim kvom l'shem avtzichem, they established it for Avoda zara. Says the Gemara, Bishlam l'man diyama b'tishrei nivrei ha'olam. It's understand according to the man diyama that says that the world was created in Tishrei. Okay, so that makes sense. There's a machlekes. The Rashi, if it was created in Tishrei or Nisan. So he says, okay, according to this, it makes sense. At Tishrei, he only sees Yom Azut Chazi. He sees the days are getting shorter and shorter from the creation of the world. Right away after he sinned, the days are getting darker and darker. So that's why he was concerned. He hasn't seen yet the longer days. But according to the Mandiyama that says Nisan, the world was created. So he said he sees till Tishrei the days are getting longer through the summer, and then it starts getting shorter from Tu B'Av. So you see, so he saw both. So according to that Mandiyama, why would he fast it? Says the Gemara, that the days were getting so short, like the days of Hanukkah, so tiny. He said, this is something to be concerned about. It's probably before this is. The day that Adam Rishon was created, since the sun went down, because I sinned, the world became dark because of me.
Born in early morning?
Who, Adam Rishon?
What does he say here?
No, he says that
In other words, the sun went down.
yeah.
So he was born, when did he come into the world?
Oh, he was born sure, earlier. Yes. Okay. So he thought this is the punishment of Misa that the Eibishter was constant. He gave the punishment min hashamayim. He was sitting.
Why are we repeating this?
No, before we spoke about the tkufa because of the tkufa of the days getting shorter. Now we're talking about the first day. In the day itself, not the season. The day itself, the sun went down. He couldn't believe what's happening. Okay. He was sitting in tightness. He's fasting the whole night. A good wife. His wife was also crying together with him. It was a duo. Yeah.
Soulmate.
A soulmate, correct. Once the morning came out, this is already a cycle how it works every day. He got up and he was makiv. a shayr that the horns came out of the ground before the hooves. Usually, when a shayr is born, he first has the hooves, and then later on, it takes time till he grows horns. Here, we're talking about which shayr, the first shayr that was created. The first shayr that says in Rashi, I underlined. I should remember the Amamah called Ma'aser Bereishis b'koimasim nivro, that all of Ma'aser Bereishis was created a full, complete animal. It wasn't a baby, and it was grown b'koima. Shoyrim kanob megudolin. It was created with a shay with horns, lechatchila. But what came out of the ground first? Since it came out of the ground, what came out of the head came out first. The horns came
out of the ground.
That's what it says. That the Eibishter created everything from earth. So it came out as a full image, but what came out first? The head, the horns. The opposite of how it is normally. So what do we see here? So he was saying, that's what he was marking, that kind of a shoyer. Shanema, like it says in the Pasuk, Hashem, it says in Tehillim, that I will better it for Hashem. These are divrei shir and thanks. Mishoir par makim maflis, from even shoir par that came out first with the horns and then with the hoofs. So from here it's talking about that the shoir that Adam Rishon was makim was the horns first. He had one horn on his forehead. What do they call that?
Unicorn.
A unicorn. Here's a unibull. Because we're talking about a par. Or maybe a unicorn is a unibull also. Okay, like it says in the Pasuk, Hashem, Mishoy par makrim mafris. In fact, you want to have the Rabba. Makrin is plural. Tarti mashma. It's two horns. When he comes saying that there was only one horn, Yitzhak, Makron, it doesn't say with a yud, so you can read it Makron ksiv. It's written without a yud, which is keren. It's one. Zok Yimara Boy Rab Masna is the Shaila.
Unicorn, it always means in the middle of the head, but when you say one thing, you're talking about
one horn
on the side of that, not in the middle of
in the middle head.
The middle head.
It says Bamsa, yeah. Nothing wrong.
So what happened later? How did it change?
I don't know. Maybe.
How come there's no unicorns today?
Maybe there is.
How come there's no unicorns?
You got to go look for them.
No, seriously.
Zok the Gemara Bayir Masna. It's a good Shaila. Well, listen, we could put it in the other stuff. Maybe somebody will come out.
I'm saying that if that was created, so then
maybe it still exists.
Maybe.
Who knows?
You know what? The offspring of that unicorn.
Yeah. How do you know for sure it doesn't exist?
How do you know Adam Rishon was crying? How do you know he was all
Okay. Let's move on. We have a lot to move on. The Romans show us a calendar that they made a chagah of calendar, which is 8 days after the season, the winter season. Now, Rome had many fractions, like in Iran. You don't have only the Khomeini fraction. You have modern, and you have all different beliefs there, but they're subjugated to the Khomeini. So he says Rome, that when they celebrated, and all the cities that were close, that were subjugated to them, which they didn't serve the idols at that, they didn't prava, how do you say prava? They didn't have the chagah, worship, and have that chagah. Are you allowed to deal with those people who are subjugated to Rome, who have the chagah versus they themselves don't? Are you allowed to do business with them? It's also even to those that are subjugated. Only to those that serve it. We learned that it's only to those that serve it. Where do we see it?
1 day or 8 days? What's going on?
It's 8 days for calendar. 8 days after and 8 days before. So we learned that it's only referring to those that serve it. Where do we see that? Even though the Kadmonim said that the Romans did prava the chagah of calendar 8 days before and after the winter season, and all the cities that were subjugated, he atzma ein asura el it says he atzma, meaning the Esav to do business in Asura only live del Bilvan, only to those that served it. So you have a raya. It's only the Isa is only on those that serve it, like Rabbi Yochanan. Star nalyo ukrotisim v'yoyim genus shomachayim. He's just quoting the words of the Mishnah. Those chages v'yoyim shomlach b'melech, and the day that the king was crowned. So the days lefanav aser, the days of before all these chages are forbidden to do business with them. La'achra muta. But after these particular chages, after the
it's only one day before that.
oh, so we had a machlekes. It's 3 days or 1 day. Okay, la'achra muta. But afterwards, it's muta. Usually, we're going to stick to 3 days. If you go to according to the Tanakama, according to the Avoda Basrai, it's 1 day. Okay. But a guy who the Bala Mishnah, the father who made the chasna for his son, ain't us ella oisa yoyim. Only the day itself of the chasna is asa. And only the Bal HaMishnah. Okay? Says the Gemara of Ravashi, Afana Nami Tanina. We also learned in the Mishnah the same thing. The Chtani, Yoim Tiglach Hazekone, the day that he shaves his beard, Uvleirisai or the ponytail, the Yoim Shalabay Minayam, or the day that he came out of the sea, he made it through traveling of the sea.
What's the simcha of shaving his beard?
They had a simcha there, face. And the day that they came out of jail, only the isur of doing business is only that day and that person. I understand why he's saying that day, to exclude that the days before that the days after, you're allowed to do business with him. Who are you coming to exclude? Whom are you coming to exclude? Says Gemara. Yeah.
And you can exclude everybody else.
What do you mean? Why would I think other people? I would have thought those that are subjugated to him, those that are working for him, they have to celebrate with him. Shmami, no. Those that are subjugated and not a part of the chagah, you don't have to. Which is another ayat to Rabbi Yochanan, that those that are subjugated are not praving the Yom Tov, you're allowed to do business with them. Tanya, we learned in the Braisa that one of the chagas that the Mishnah mentioned is, again, a Mishnah, a chasana. So we learned in the Braisa, Rabbi Yishmael Eima Yisol, Shebechutz La'aretz, a Yid that's in Chutz La'aretz, he says that he lives between the Akum, with the guy, and he serves Torah Hein, meaning they do it without kavana. So are you allowed to join the simcha of a guy or not? Ketzat says, what's the case? A guy that made a chasna for his son, and he invited all the Jews of his city. Even though they're making a special kosher section for the Jews to come to that wedding. And they made special wines and special Jewish waiters. It shouldn't be in the Yayin Nesach. They have the Shamash standing before them, making sure that Ashgacha is Badatz. CK. Okay? He's like, even lefneim. The Torah still considers it as if they ate from Zivchei Mesim. Karbonis of Avoda Zara. Zivchei Mesim means Karbonis of Avoda Zara. Never, like it says in the pasuk, so it says, and they will call to you, and you will eat from the zebach. So how do you know it includes their own food? Maybe it means if they ate the pale mamish from the food of the goyim. But if they have their own section of kosher, maybe it's mutter, you're allowed. It should say that you will eat from their kabbanis, from their food.
It does say
No, it says v'karalecha. My v'karalecha. It says in the pasuk. How does it say over there? V'karalecha. That's after, but it says v'karalecha. So the pasuk is, what's v'karalecha coming to teach you? Shemishas hakriya. From the time of the Hazmana, you're already not allowed. Thank God, I was invited to so many Geisha weddings. Thank God I didn't go. I didn't know why I didn't go, but I didn't go. I had no interest. Maybe it's Hatznias also. Hilkoch, Kol Klassen Yemen, all 30 days, all the 30 days after the Chasna, Bein Amalei, Machmas Hilula, Beinin Loy Amar Machmas Hilula. Whether the guy said it's because of the Chasna that I'm inviting you, or whether even if he didn't say it, also you're not allowed to eat in that party. After 30 days, if he says, I'm inviting you because of the chasna, it's asa. After 30 days, if he said, I'm inviting you to the party, but he doesn't say because of the chasna of his son, shari, then he's allowed to participate in the party. In fact, when he says it's because of my son's chasna, how far should we take this serious? Could it be 10 years after the wedding? Well, it's like the Dragot Shav, every day he's getting married, the Kiddushin is chal every moment. Or it's one Kiddushin and that's it. Omar Papa said, till 12 months, the first year it's a honeymoon. That's what they call it. After that, no more honeymoon, it's done. So up to a year. How much before the chasna are you not allowed to do business with them? Says from the time that they start placing barley into these big plates in order to prepare the beer for the chasna. So when they start already that type of preparation, from that day, if he invites you to a party, you're not allowed to participate. If the 12 months you're going to say you're allowed to participate in the party, even if he says it's because of a chasna. Well, if he says it's because of a chasna, Rabbi Yitzchak, the son of Rabbi Nishasha, was invited to this Goyisha house, and the Basa Tresa Yachashata, let's say it was like 15 months after his son's wedding already, and he's listening how the guy is thanking his Getchka. Because of that, Rabbi Yitzchak separated himself. He didn't participate in the Mishnah. So you see from here, even after 12 months, you're not allowed. It says, Rabbi Yitzchak, the Adam Chashuv. So when it's Adam Chashuv, then could you imagine Trump comes to your house? It's you're gonna thank the Getchke over there. So the Yimadu said, okay, ukarteisim. Good. Ukarteisim. We learned the Mishnah. Ukarteisim. My karteisim. What's karteisim? Amar Rav Yehuda Mashmol. Yom shetafsa bei Remi Amalchus. The day that the Romans conquered. What about Tanya? Conquered big parts of the world. At the end, they ruled the whole world. But the Gemara will explain. They conquered Persia. You'll soon see. And Egypt, they conquered. What about Tanya? How could you say Kratesim is the day that the Romans conquered, let's say, the Persians? It says Kratesim one term, and then it says which is a separate term than Kartesim. So how could you say Kartesim is one thing with Yom Shetafsa by Remi Amalchus? Oh, but state tvises. There were two tvises. Tov, so they may Achas be may Cleopatra. Yeah, how do you say Cleopatra? The queen of Cleopatra. Cleopatra. Okay.
SCLEO.
Okay, Cleopatra of Egypt. Yes, of Egypt. They. The Achash Yevonim, and one that they conquered the Greeks. So that's two. So when Avdimi came from Eretz Yisrael to Babel, he said, "Klassen utrein krove avdu reimayi bahade Yevoni." 32 fronts, or 32 milchamas, the Romans fought against the Yevon. 32 fronts. Lo yachlalu. And they were unable to overcome them ad ishatfinu liyisob adayu, till they made a shutfis with the Yidden. V'hachi asna ba'adayu. And this was the condition between the Romans and the Jews. Iminan malchi, if from us we will rule as kings, minaycho aparche, you Yidden will be the governors. But iminaycho malchi, but if you will be the kings, Minan hapi parche. We should be the governors. That was the condition that in the shutfis. So then it says v'shoch, and then v'shoch lahu areimoy leyavani leyavanoi. The Romans came to the Yavanim, and they said, "Adayina bikrava." Till now, we're fighting in France, like Trump said, "Stop the killing. Let's try to negotiate." And they said like this: "Hashta navid bedina." Let's do it civilly. Let's try to figure out what's right. Magolis v'eben teva. When you have a choice between a pearl, let's say, and a beautiful diamond, which one should be the setting for which? Shochlu Magolis should be the setting Levin Teva for the beautiful stone. Evan Teva v'inach. What? How about beautiful stone, but onyx? Onyx in that time was really rare. So between the onyx and the rare stone and the diamond, which one? Which one should be the setting for the other? Of course, the diamond should be a setting for the onyx, because the onyx was more chashuv. How about Enoch the Sefer Torah? If you have the onyx and you have a Sefer Torah, which one should be a setting for which? So he says Enoch, the onyx should be the Sefer Torah. So the Roman says, Him came. Anan Sefer Torah Gabon, we have the Sefer Torah with us. The Yisrael, because they made a shutfis. The Romans made a shutfis with the Jews, and the Jews had this Sefer, and the Eden were with them, and the Sefer Torah was them. So Kaflu.
What happened all of a sudden?
What do you mean?
The Jewish became Jewish.
They wanted. They said till now. The Romans said we had so many fights with you, so many troubles.
Now let's make it a.
Oh, let's talk it out. Let's negotiate. And he negotiated, and he explained that the Romans explained, well, listen, we have the cards. You don't have all the cards, like Trump was saying to Iran. So, come under us. We have the Sefer Torah. Kafluhu Taka, the Romans won over them, and Esem Eshit Shnin Komu Lehu Behem Nusayu Behada Yisrael. The 26 years the Romans kept to their condition, that the Yidden were governors and they were the kings. But from after the 26 years, they subjugated the Yidden. In fact, my daughters will say my daughters. To begin with, when the Yidden were together with them, what happened? First, they kept to the treaty for 26 years, right, and then they stopped.
Right.
Why was there 2 times? Why was there a time that they kept to it and the time not? It says, they dashed in a pasuk where Esav said to Yaakov, let's go together, right? And then the same Darush, at the end, Yaakov said to Esav, let you go before. Oh, said before. Before means that you guys are subjugated to us. Sagt die jemand Esmes Shnin, the coming beim Nosayu.
Just they realized after 26 years.
It says, why was there 2 seasons? Why? Either lechatchila no condition, but why there was a time that they were together and that they kept to the treaty, and a time out, no more treaty. So he used this pasuk at the beginning of Yaakov said to Esav said to Yaakov, let's travel together. Right. Then Yaakov answered, so that was the traveling together, the 26 years. Why the number 26? I don't have an answer. He's asking, why was there a time that they kept to it, and why was it then they subjugated? So because that's how they interpreted the pasuk. From where do we know that the Romans stuck to it for 26 years? And the Afghana had said, when Rabbi Yishmael ben Rabbi Yossi fell ill, the Chachamim said, the Shalu Rebbe, and they asked, Rebbe, tell us 3 chidushim that you from your father. This is half of a fellow. He's sick, and they don't ask him his chidushim. They ask him, tell us a chidushim from your father. I have to look that up. I don't know.
They know that father said
Rabbi Yishmael was no Patchke flesh over there. So they said to them, 180 years before the Beis Hamikdash the Beis Hasheni was destroyed, Pashta Malchus Harsha. The Romans, of course, stretched their hands over the Al Yisrael, and they started, and they conquered Shmeinim Shana Lo Yichorav. 80 years before the Churban Bayis Hasheni, Gazu Tumal Eretz Haman. There were guys that when you go outside of Eretz Yisrael, they don't know where the bones are. So the tumah is all over. But Klis Chuchis, even though Klis Chuchis doesn't become tamei, they Chacham made a gzeira. Abayim Shana Ad Loichar Bayis Golsa Sanhedrin. 40 years before the Churban Bayis Sheni, the Sanhedrin were exiled, meaning they left the Lishkas Hagazis, the Yashal Bechonus, and they sat in a adjacent building called on the Harabayis in the place of Chonus. In fact, you want to what is Rabbi Yossi coming to tell us? That the Sanhedrin left the Lishkas Hagazis. Rabbi Yitzchak Rabbi Dimi later to tell you Shalei Dona Dina Knossos. They stopped judging on Dina Knossos. Dina Knossos are those fixed amounts, like you have by Oinus Mafate, which is 50 shkolim, and you have by a shor that kills an evet, which is 30 shkolim, and so forth. So those fixed amounts, they stop. Dina Knossos, Dina Knossos. Rav Yehuda said in the name of Rav, Beram, Zacha Isa Ish Lateiv. You should remember this person for good. Who is that? Rav Yehuda ben Bava Shmei. Rav Yehuda ben Bava. If not for him, the laws of Knas would have been forgotten for the Yidden. In fact, you want him Nishtakhu? What do you mean? It would have been forgotten. The Garsino, let them learn over all the dinim of the Knosses. Elab says, you want to batlu din Knas miso. The din of Knosses was batlu because it says Asher Yashim Elakim. You have to have Dayanim Smuchim to judge. So this was the problem. Here he brings down Shagaz Malsa Shag Zeta. Kol HaSoimech Yaharik. Anybody with this, that gives off smicha will get killed. The Kol HaNismach, and the one that receives this smicha Yaharik should be killed. The Kol every city that's close to it should be destroyed. Utchum Shesemchem Bay, meaning the tchum of 2,000 amos. If it was within those 2,000 amos, Yaharik should be uprooted. What did Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba do? What solution did he do to protect that these cities shouldn't be destroyed? He went between two big mountains, between two big cities, meaning between the Tchumim, so they shouldn't be able to destroy any cities. Which place was that? Between Usha and Shfara. And over there, he was masmich 5 skenim. We have Meir, we have Yehuda, we have Yosef, we have Shimon, we have Elaz ben Shavua, we have Avi Yosef, Af Rabbi Nechemiah. Kiven shehikiru ba oivin, since the enemies realized that he was giving smicha to these people, Amalahan, Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba, who was an old man already, he said, Banai Rutsu, children run. Amrullah, Rabbi, Rabbi, what's going to be with you? Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba says, listen. First of all, he was an older man, so he says, I'll hold him back. Hareni mutalif name. I will be like the carbon in front of even the stumbling block, the block, to receive the misa be'ava, he says, he's ready to do it. That like a stone that doesn't feel anything. He says, don't worry. Amru, and they said, Leizaz Misham, that Yehuda ben Baba didn't. Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba did not move from its place till they threw 300 spears in his guf. And these spears were shabazel, and it made his guf like a sieve. We still have.
Sounds like
What? It doesn't know. This is a separate story. Rabbi Yehuda ben Baba. We had it in Sanhedrin with him also. Omer of Nachman, he was. This happened on the spot when they caught it. He stayed in his place. I'm sure it's from those that are mentioned from the Asara Arugim Malchus. Yeah. Omer of Nachman of Yitzchak. Of Nachman of Yitzchak said that these Dinei Knossos, right? Why are
you bringing this whole
thing? So the question is over here. You're saying, how could you say that the dinim of Knossos was nisbatul, and you're saying when did this happen? This was many years after the Churban, and this is a statement to Rabbi Yitzchak Rabbi Avdima. He says that they stopped the dinner of Knossos when the Sanhedrin left the Lishkis Hagazis to this place called Chanus, which was during that was 40 years before the Churban. And the Indian of the Bittul of the Knossos, right? This story was many years after the Churban. How does this coincide? That's the kasha the Gemara is asking. Amar Rav Nachman Rav Yitzchak loy tema dinei Knossos. You're right. This story was many years after the Churban. And this that we said that Rabbi Yishmael said that 40 years before the Churban goes to Sanhedrin. What Lamai Nafkamina? The Nafkamina was not going to get to dinei Knossos that they stopped. They stopped judging on din nefashis. In fact, Gemara my time, what was the reason for it? The Gemara given the chazan of fish in the hood, since the Sanhedrin saw, hey, there's much more murders happening, and they were unable to judge all these cases. They said to themselves, it's better for us to be moving from place to place in order that we shouldn't be able to be mechayiv these zatzchim. The chsiv, like it says in the pasuk, "Vasis al pi adava asher yagid lecha min hamakim ahu," meaning melamed shehamakim goyim. The Sanhedrin has to be in the Lishkis Hagazis in order to be able to, even in the other cities, even if the other Sanhedrin is totally in the Sanhedrin Hagdola that was in the Lishkis Hagazis. But if they were not in the Lishkis Hagazis, you were unable to kill. I think I'm going to stop over here.
That's it?